Hi, everybody. Vladimir Duthiers here from CBS News, CBS This Morning. So earlier this week, we profiled a young fourth grader, 9 years old, who started a reading club, a reading group for people who were feeling stressed out and worried throughout the pandemic. And I wanted to. Hi, Jerika Duncan has joined my Instagram Live. I'm not as adept at doing these Instagram Lives as some of my colleagues like David Begnaud and Errol Barnett, who do them on a regular basis. But I had a wonderful time with this young girl, and I want to invite her to come on to my Instagram Live so we can continue the discussion about why she decided, this young 9-year-old fourth grader decided to start a reading live stream every night at 7 p.m. for anybody who wants to join in, and she reads her favorite books. She's going to join me now. So we're just waiting for her to join.
Wait, I think it's backwards.
I think it's backwards, Maddie.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Where you guys are.
There
Hi.
you go.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Where's your mom? Hi, Ebony.
Hi, how are you? I'm here.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
No, thank you.
Maddie, Ebony, you are live right now on my Instagram Live. I don't normally do this, but we've got about 26 to 27 people or so who are following along with us. So let's, just for people who might be joining who didn't catch you on CBS This Morning earlier this week, you decided when you heard about the pandemic and you realized that you were going to have to be at home for an extended period of time, you weren't going to be able to go to school physically, you decided to hold a nightly reading session where you read from your favorite books, right?
Yes, sir.
And so tell everybody who's watching why you wanted to do this for anybody who wanted to join. Why did you choose to read your favorite books every night and ask the world to join you?
I did this because when we were shopping for everything we needed, I saw that everybody was frustrated, and I wanted to make them happy. So when I got home, I said, I can read books and bring joy and happiness to everybody.
And how much do you love reading? I know your mom told me about the fact that your nose is always stuck in a book now, but tell me about your love of books.
Well, I didn't really like books at first. Well, I liked books, but I wasn't into reading. And I just had to listen to my teacher, and she would always say, if you use your imagination, you can go anywhere you want in a book.
And have you found that to be true?
Yes.
And how many? You've had over 100 people that join you every night to listen to you read, right?
Yes. Now it's 420.
What?
Because of him.
Because of you.
Oh, come on. It's not because of me. It's because of you. That's amazing. 420 people?
Yes.
In one day.
In one day.
Wow. That's incredible. And you're still getting some people from England, from people from Australia?
We have Alaska now.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, so I asked your mom to ask you to show me some of your favorite books, and let's talk about what you love about them, and for the people that are joining us now, what you think they should know about these books.
Well, the first book has plenty of books in it, and it's called Pete the Cat Storybook Collection. It's very cool and neat because you get to read different types of books in one big, huge book.
It's got how
And
many?
it has
7.
more than 7, I think.
7.
7. It has 7 books in this book.
So is Pete the Cat? It's a series of books starring Pete the Cat.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir.
So if you watch our show, Jerika Duncan, who's one of our correspondents at CBS News, has just joined us on Instagram here, and her daughter Journey is also watching. Journey and Jerika.
Hi.
Hello. She just texted me that they're watching this. So let me ask you, Pete the Cat is what? What is he? Who is he? What does he do? What makes him so interesting?
He's positive, and when he gets into a big problem, he always tries to stay positive and work his way out.
And what made you choose that book? Did somebody introduce you to Pete the Cat, or did you pull it off a library shelf?
Well, my teacher from kindergarten, she had a lot of Pete the Cat books, so I read one day and I just started falling in love with them. Hi, Miss Paige.
That's her teacher. So that's her name.
That's her name.
What's her name?
Miss Paige.
Miss Page.
Well, Mrs. Paige.
Mrs. Page. So would it be fair to say then, I know your mom talked about the fact that once you really got into reading, she went into the attic and gave you some of the books that she loved to read when she was a little girl. So clearly in your home, books have always been an important part, but your teachers also gave you suggestions for books.
Yes. All of my teachers.
All of your teachers. And so after having now experienced this love of book that you have, what kind of books are you most interested in?
Charlotte's Web.
I love Charlotte's Web. Okay, hold on a second, Maddie. Now we finally have something in common, because I don't know Pete the Cat. That's a little after my time. But Charlotte's Web, I grew up reading Charlotte's Web. It is one of my favorite books of all time. Some pig. My
favorite character from Charlotte's Web is the spider.
I think a lot of people love the spider. Do you remember her name?
Charlotte. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's Charlotte's Web. And what about Roper?
Well, he was a pig, and I kind of he was my second character that I liked, because I love pigs because they're pink, and I love when they oink, and their curly tails.
Yeah, pigs are known to be as smart, if not smarter than dogs. That's what they say. Pigs are really smart. Did you know that?
No.
I learned that in the book, that pigs are generally considered even smarter than some dogs. And, they're very, very intelligent animals.
Maybe we should get a pig. Maybe we should get a pig.
Maybe you should. You can take it. Why not? All right, so what's another book that you love?
I love this. I love TJ's Discovery.
Okay, what's it about?
This book is about TJ is a girl who is in, I don't know what grade she's in, but I'm trying to find it. It doesn't say it, but TJ is a girl who went to a camping trip with her family, and she was very scared of the dark, so she kept the is it a lantern?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the lantern on when they all fell asleep. And when she didn't fall asleep, she went outside and she looked she looked up, she lay down and looked up at the stars and said, "It's not scary anymore, it's just a beautiful nature."
I love it. I love it. So let's, why don't we do this? I'm getting, a lot of people are joining this Instagram, and just like they do during Story Time with Maddie. So let me explain what we're doing here, and then I'll look to see if there are any questions from people that they may have for you, and we'll see if you can answer them. Is that cool? Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Instagram Live. I don't do a lot of these because I'm not as adept as some of my colleagues like David Begnaud and Errol Barnett, but I had an opportunity this week on CBS This Morning to profile young Madison here, who's joining me on this Instagram. And her name is Madison Nevels, and her mom, Ebony Grant, is also with her. Hi, Ebony.
Hi.
Hello. So Madison has decided to do something that is really, really important as we are all living through this pandemic. Beginning on March 23rd, after a shopping trip with her mom, Ebony, she decided to hold a Facebook Live every night at 8 o'clock p.m. Where she reads from her favorite book for anybody who wants to join. And it's on Facebook. It's at 8 p.m. every night at 8 p.m. and it's called Story Time with Maddie. She began doing this every night on March 23rd. And she came up with this idea to reach people, as many people as she possibly could during the period of social distancing. And I note that I just name-checked Errol Barnett, and he has just joined right now. Errol Barnett is one of our correspondents. You guys, if you watch CBS This Morning and Evening News, you know that. And Errol does a lot of these Instagram Lives. I don't do a lot of them. This is one of my first ones, but I'm so happy that you're with me, Maddie, to talk about this. So again, let's just, for the people that are joining right now, you were at the store with your mom and you realized that this pandemic was going to be a big deal, that we were all going to have to stay at home for a really long time. So why did you decide to start Story Time with Maddie?
Everybody was like rushing, and I could tell that they were very frustrated when they were at the store. So when I got home that day, I took some research and saw what people made happy, what made people happy, and I didn't see reading on there, so I just did reading because I like reading, and I think other people will like reading too.
That's great. And when you learn that people are happy to join you every night during Story Time with Maddie, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel happy and excited because I know that people like seeing me and my mom, and like they like hearing stories, and they like encouraging me to keep going. Yeah,
I like that. And I think I told you this when we spoke the first time, that one of the reasons why I was so into your story is because I was a bookworm when I was a kid, when I was your age, and I love to read, and I still love to read, and I read as much as I can when I can. And I think one of the things that you said to me earlier is that you love reading because when you read, you imagine that you can go anywhere and you can be anything.
Yes. But sometimes when I read chapter books, there's no pictures, so I have to use what they give me in the book to create a space where it's like the book, but it's not really the book.
I feel that. So, all right, so there are people that are waving to us, and there are people that have joined us.
Hi.
Hi, yeah, just say hi to everybody.
Hey, y'all.
You're from Savannah, Georgia, right?
Yes, sir.
Where do you go to school? Give your school a shout out.
I go to Savannah Classical Academy. Thank you. Hey, y'all.
I got a very nice note from your principal on social media. I know, yeah, they were watching, and your teacher was watching also.
Wow.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
That is so cool.
So you started out with just a couple of people who joined your story time with Maddie, and then when you and I spoke earlier this week, you had about 100 people. Now, how many people do you have that tune in every night?
420 people.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you.
All in one day.
Wow. You have a big audience.
Yes.
Do you get nervous when you're reading?
Yes, because I also get sidetracked because I like reading the comments that people read, and sometimes when I'm reading, I get nervous because I'm like, what if I messed up? What are they going to say?
I don't think you mess up. I think you're probably the reason you have 400 plus people that are coming in every night to watch you read books for Storytime with Maddie is because they really, really appreciate what you're doing. You said to me that you decided to do this because you wanted to make people feel more at ease. You wanted to have people stop worrying about the pandemic. And when you read some of the comments, do you find that people feel happier after spending some time with you?
All the time.
What do they tell you? What are some of the comments?
One of the comments said that they were very proud of me, and I made their day.
Well, you made my day when I saw your story, because I just realized to myself, wow, what a way to do something that you love, which is reading, and you're able to share. Oops. There you go. And you're able to share the love of reading that you have with the rest of the world. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to do.
Yes, and it's very fun.
So I noticed also that my little brother, who's a teacher, by the way, has joined the chat.
My mom's a teacher.
Your mom's a teacher too?
Yes.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I see a comment here that says, "You're wonderful, Maddie. Keep going." That's from Bridget Valley. Can you see these comments?
Thank you. Yes. There's so many.
Here's another one that says, "You are an inspiration and we love your enthusiasm." That's from Bondi Prong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you want to know what one of my favorite books when I was a kid, when I was your age, what it was?
Yes.
All right. Maybe your mom will know this. Judy Blume's Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing.
I have that book.
You have that book?
Yes.
I found it. Yes, you do.
Oh my God, I love this book.
You're in fourth grade.
I'm in fourth grade.
I know. Wait, so Ebony, did you have this book or was it Maddie's book?
Mom.
It's okay. So you tell me, like, when I first read this book, and one of my dreams would be to one day meet the author of this book, Judy Blume. She's one of my favorite authors. Is one of my favorite authors from when I was growing up as a kid.
Give me the book.
What's going on? Oh my God, there it is. I loved it. I loved Fudge. I loved Peter. I loved, there were so many that book for me, I think, when I first read it, had so many interesting details that I became an instant Judy Blume fan. And I probably would credit Judy Blume with, I was always into reading and I was always into books, but when I first read that book, and then I read some of her other books like Then Again Maybe I Won't, and Blubber, and Deanie. I read all of her books. I don't know how many of her, do you have more Judy Blume books, or is that the only one?
I have a lot more.
Do you really?
Yes.
So that's one of the things that I really love about books and really, really great authors is that a book that was written when I was a child, which was a very, very, very long time ago, can still be interesting and can still find young people like yourself that are interested in them because they're timely, because they are classics. And I'm so happy that you love that book too.
Well, when my mom brought home her books, I was like, I do not want to read them. And when I started reading them, I was like, these are kind of interesting.
Yeah, we know we're us older people. We know a couple of things about a couple of things. So, are you? Do you know Beverly Cleary? Beverly Cleary, the author of Beverly Cleary.
We have those two.
Really?
Those are in the closet.
Yeah, you have a whole collection.
I have a whole collection of those books.
So, have you read any of those?
Yes, I've read 3. No, but I've read 3.
Okay. So those were, when I was a kid, Beverly Cleary, Judy Blume were probably my 2 favorite authors. And then I'm going to throw one out there that I don't think you have read. Maybe you have. I'll be surprised if you have. It's a little bit more obscure, but it is a really interesting series of books. There was a book. Oh my God! Let me see what you got. Let's see. Pull them up. Let me move these comments. Let's see. That's Ramona Quimby. Love that. What is that one? Let's see.
That one, that's Ramona Quimby, age 8.
Yes.
Henry Huggins.
Henry Huggins.
Twice. Like, how do we have it twice? I don't know. And Ramona the Pest.
Ramona the Pest. I think that was the first one I read. Ramona the Pest was the first one.
And then there's Beezus and Ramona.
Beezus and Ramona.
And there were more, but my hand wasn't big enough to carry them and the dog.
Oh my God, I love that. You know, because what's interesting is, so Judy Blume's books were written in the early 1970s, but Beverly Cleary's books go back to the 1950s. So, you know, we're talking many.
You weren't born?
I said I wasn't even born yet. She goes, you weren't born yet?
Yeah. So those books are date back to the 1950s and 60s. And I mean, I read same thing. I read all of them. Henry Huggins, Henry and Ribsy, Henry and the Clubhouse, Ramona and Beezus, Ramona and her father, Ramona and her mother. I just thought they were amazing.
I gotta catch up.
Yeah, you gotta catch up. Come on. So there's another series of books that if I will make one recommendation for you, and I would love to know if you get a chance to get them when this is all over. There was a series of books written also in the late 1960s, early 1970s, called The Great Brain. It's a series of books about a young man who...
No.
Yeah, The Great Brain.
Really?
I'll see if anybody...
Can you bring that back up?
Huh?
I don't think we have those.
Okay, so The Great Brain was a series of books written by a guy named John D. Fitzgerald, and it was about his brother who was this exceptionally smart child. And I thought of you because you're exceptionally smart. And how his brother was considered like almost a genius. And he was able to come up with ways to actually outsmart adults. And it's set in like Utah in the 19th century. It's a really great series of books. They're called The Great Brain Series by John D. Fitzgerald. If you get a chance, and I'll see if anybody who's watching this Instagram is familiar with them. These books are not as common as Judy Blume and as Beverly Cleary books, but they were just as interesting to me as a kid. So I got a question here. Somebody has asked a question here, Maddie, that I'm going to ask you. Hold on here. Let's see. Okay. So Stephen Shalowitz, who actually does a podcast, which is a really interesting podcast. Yes, he writes this, Maddie. Since books transport you, where would you like to visit most? If you could go anywhere, where would you go?
I will go to Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Want to go to Hollywood?
Yes.
Because?
We can go to Hollywood.
After this is over.
I would be an astronaut.
Do you like space?
Yeah.
I've never known that.
So interesting.
You don't want to go to space?
She does.
I do. I like I like books about space.
You do. You know, when we were kids, Ebony, it's interesting that, you know, we probably, are kids as inspired by space as they were, as we were? As a kid, my heroes were astronauts. I don't know if kids today.
Right. Well, with my students, it's more that YouTube and TikTok type deal. So they're not really worried about outer space. But we try to get them interested. And then once they start studying it, and then they hear things along the way, and then they're like, okay, well, maybe this is kind of interesting. So it takes a little bit of teeth pulling, but eventually they get on board. So
nice. Stephen Shalowitz says he loves the answer, Maddie, that you want to have.
that was sweet.
Thank you.
I also want to share with you, Maddie, that your teacher, Alyssa, Miss Alyssa Casciata, sent me a message yesterday. And she said this. I watched Madison reading her story tonight on Facebook, and her confidence is growing so much. She deserves it all. She is such a motivated and driven student. She also says, we're excited to watch Maddie. She's in my 4th grade class. Thank you for the opportunity to let her shine. So that's from your teacher. Isn't that great?
I said, are you okay? She said, no.
Aww. I love it. I love it. So what do you want people to know? People who are watching you right now, what do you want them to know about Storytime with Maddie and why they should join you every night at 8 p.m. on Facebook?
My teacher joins me on Facebook Live every night because I think she does because she wants me to grow and she wants me to be the best that I can be and show everyone that if I can do it, you can do it.
And why do you want other people to join you every night?
I want other people to join me every night because I want to make you happy and I want you to be having fun and not so worried.
I mean, we can all get behind that. Having fun and not be so worried. I like that. And you can lose yourself in a good book, the good book that you share with everybody who's joining you.
Excuse me.
You're tired? You'd be in school at this hour. Why are you tired? This would normally be school for time for you.
It's school.
All right. Well, so, Maddie, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for spending some time with me.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate that you looked around you. You looked around your community and you thought of something that you might be able to do to ease the worries and the suffering that people are going through right now because of this pandemic, and you decided to do something that made you happy because you wanted to see other people happy just like you. And there are not a lot of people who think that way, Maddie, so yeah. You should. Oh, there's your teacher!
Hey, Miss Casciata!
So your teacher, Miss Casciata, has just joined, and we were just talking about you, Miss Casciata. We were just saying how you sent me a very wonderful message about how Maddie is such an inspiration and how you love joining Storytime with Maddie. And she just wrote, "Love you so much, Madison." Look at that.
Thank you.
You have a message for Miss Casciata?
Yes. Thank you for teaching me this year. You are the best teacher, and I hope you are being safe, and I really miss you, and I can't wait to see you if we go back to school. And you're so pretty.
She says, we're so proud of you. Your Savannah classical family loves you.
Thank you. Love you too.
That's so wonderful. I was just saying to you, Maddie, before we wrap this up, that when I saw your story, I was so proud of you, and even though I didn't know you, I was so proud to see you doing what you do because you realized that there were people who were in pain, people who were sad, people who were upset, people who were nervous about this pandemic, and you decided to do something about it. You decided to help your community, and not just your community. You've got hundreds of people now all over America and all over the world who want to join you if it, for just a few minutes, takes their mind off of this horrible pandemic because of what you're doing. That's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. And the fact that you decided to do that and you're 9 years old, I mean, I love sharing stories of people like you, young people, older people, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that's what you're doing right now. And I'm very proud to play a small part in being a part of your world. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. You're the amazing one. I don't do anything like what you do.
I'll be like you.
You want to be like me?
I'll be like you when I grow up.
You don't want to be bald.
So not that part.
Not that part.
So your teacher, wait, Miss Casciata has a question here that I think is interesting. Hold on, let's see. She says, Madison, do you want to talk about what other students in our class said during our Zoom about your stories, how you inspired them?
Yes. My best friend, Madison, she said that she was very happy and proud of me, and that maybe one day she could do an art on my Facebook Live one day. And somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they said they were really proud of me and that they inspired me to move on and keep going.
That's wonderful. That's cool. So you're inspiring your own classmates. You're not just inspiring people who join you for Storytime with Maddie. You're also inspiring your classmates.
Yes, and if it's possible, I would like the whole, well, not the whole class, if they could, maybe the whole class could read one book a different day.
A book a day. If you were watching us when we did this on CBS this morning, do you remember what Anthony Mason said at the end right before we went to commercial? He said, every time you read a book, you get a little smarter.
Yes.
I love it. All right. Well, do you want to say anything to everybody who's watching before we go?
Please follow me, and I promise I will make your day, and I will make you happier than you already are.
You're bringing tears to my eyes. Thank you so much, Madison. This was so wonderful. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, Ebony, for raising such a beautiful, lovely, intelligent daughter. I think that the world is.
I'm trying.
I know. It's not easy. I got it. If my mom were you, Ebony, and I was Maddie back in the day, it would be a very different thing. It would.
That would. I can only imagine.
That was a good thing. Well, thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story with me, and thank you for spending some time with me, Maddie.
Thank you for talking to me.
Of course. I will see you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yes. And so, again, remind everybody where they can see it. On Facebook?
On Facebook Live with Storytime at Maddie on 8 o'clock every night.
Every night. All right. Thank you, Madison. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a happy Easter.
You too.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on this Instagram Live. I hope you found it interesting. I don't usually do a lot of these, so I'm still a little inept at doing them, but I think that I wanted to start with somebody who I knew was going to be fun and interesting and was going to inspire a lot of people, and I'm glad that we were able to do this with Maddie. Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
Bye, Ebony.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Of course. See you soon.
You too.